Sim Update 8 for Microsoft Flight Simulator is now available as a beta. There's quite a few fixes and improvements going into this one, so let's take a closer look. Before we get right into this video though, I just want to apologise right up front if I seem a little bit tired or a little bit slow on this particular video. I've been right in the middle of a house movement. I've mentioned that a few times before. Been quite hectic the past few days, so trying to fit this video in amongst many other things. At any rate, let's get on with it. Now, it's pretty well known that at this point, many of Flight Simulator's updates have come with a sack of problems and bugs. Whilst Asobo have conducted betas in the past, they have generally been fairly short-lived. This time around though, it appears that the beta is going to be running for quite a bit longer. The full release for this update is scheduled for the 1st of March, so it seems we should have a few weeks with this one at the very least. So if you want to get involved with the testing, Microsoft have recently posted a handy guide to get you sorted. It comes with the standard warning stating that if you do sign up for the testing, there is a distinct possibility, a very good chance in fact, that you will after the testing have to reinstall the entire game again. So yeah, that's very much a thing that you should keep in mind. I've heard many people discuss this and mention it in the past. Although that said, Microsoft do say if that you don't install it to the default location that you may get away with it. So then, what is Sim Update 8 all about? Well, this time around, it's all about bug fixing. It's good to see that Microsoft have dedicated a full patch to this, as the sim has built up quite a long list of problems over the previous few months and the previous year. The release notes give some indication as to what has been fixed, as well as some details of a few new additions, so let's start with the new additions. One of the biggest additions to this new simulation is a system for propeller physics, and this is aiming to make them far more realistic. This will eventually lead to blade physics as well, so this has been added in 3 planes as of this patch: the Cessna 152, the Cessna 208B, and the Beechcraft. The new simulation code covers feathering, prop drag, and P-factor, as well as a number of other things. So the good news with all of this is that this new code is beginning the introduction for helicopters, which will be coming in the fall of this year. So in essence, Asobo and Microsoft want real accurate physics for the helicopters, and so need to really focus on blade simulation for this to take place, and they've started with prop physics right here with Sim Update 8. Currently, from what Microsoft are saying, the new propeller simulation is an optional addition. Elsewhere in the update, there's a brand new marketplace interface. We can see that on the screen right here. It's pretty neat actually, and allows you to find new airports in a much cleaner way. Effectively, this is using the world map. You can simply just navigate around this. The icons represent downloadable content, paid downloadable content. I assume some of this will be free as well if there's free airports out there. You can also see on some of the icons that we can see when the items are in sale as well, on sale rather. Now, the only real issue here is that you can't zoom right the way out on the world map. This is about as far as you can zoom out, but it does seem to be good enough. One thing it does really highlight is where much of the development work from third parties is focused on. That seems to be especially across Europe and the USA, but the rest of the world also has some good airports as well out there, so certainly this is a nice addition. Meanwhile, there's a brand new landing challenge to take place. This is at Reno Steed Airport. Now, whilst this isn't a part of the recent Reno expansion, it's nonetheless set around the same area. Microsoft have certainly and Asobo have put a bunch of work into this area, so it makes sense they'd want to do a landing challenge here. Moving on to the rest of the patch, as mentioned, it's all about various fixes and improvements. These cover areas such as weather, VR, navigation, planes, the Sim Update world itself, and much more. In fact, the full patch notes, of course, are very extensive. You can see them on the screen right here, and there's a link to these in the video description. Now, as always, I'm not going to go through each of these points. I prefer to leave that to you. But there's a number of standout fixes that I do want to touch on. For weather, we've got these items. 2 that I'm quite interested in fact, in seeing is the improved speed for live weather. Seems a bit of a strange statement there, improved speed. What this is all about is the speed at which the data would download for live weather. In fact, I noticed many people previously had quite some issues with this, myself included. You select live weather and nothing would change. You won't actually get the live weather for your area. A part of this, one of the reasons, well, many of reasons in fact, but one of the reasons was due to the speed at which that data was downloaded. Apparently, in some occasions, it could take up to 5 minutes for that data to become available. This has now been fixed with Sim Update 8, so that should be quite a nice improvement there. There's also an improvement, talking of improvements, to the thickness of overcast clouds. This is a change that particularly stands out to me and something I'll be focusing on in a future video, so keep an eye out for that. There's a whole ton of fixes to planes here as well. In fact, in total, you can see around 178 fixes listed in the release notes for planes alone. Another thing that I'm pleased to see is a new UI menu for the Tobii Eye Tracker, and this should make things a bit easier when it comes to using this peripheral, which, much needed. Overall then, Sim Update 8 is certainly not a massive patch in terms of brand new content. It doesn't bring too many new things here. What it does do is bring a long list of fixes, so yep, we need this at this point, so I'm glad to see that Microsoft and Asobo have focused on this time around. All information you need is listed in the video description, do check it out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.